My name is Krisha Moeller, and I am the Director of IT for Compass Charter Schools. And I'd like to welcome you today to this mini WOW for the spring 2025 semester. If you're not familiar with a WOW, WOW stands for Weeks of Welcome, and these presentations contain some important information and best practices for Compass scholars and families that will help guide and support them throughout this semester or school year. This mini wow is brought to you on behalf of the IT department, which is what I oversee. And we're going to be talking a little bit about some cybersecurity best practices and protocols for Compass scholars and families to follow that'll help keep them protected for this spring 2025 semester. So, before we begin, I'd like to very briefly cover our very short agenda for this mini WOW. I'm going to start by going over our mission, vision, and values here at Compass Charter Schools, followed by some semester two important information or tips and tricks for scholars to help keep them safe. And then lastly, we're going to go into some general cybersecurity awarenesses or best practices for both Compass scholars and families. And then at the end, I will be covering some information about our upcoming live Q&A session. Okay, so our mission here at Compass Charter Schools is to inspire and develop innovative, creative, self-directed learners, one scholar at a time. Our vision is to create an innovative, collaborative learning environment that supports the diverse needs and goals of each scholar, nurtures a love of learning, and prepares them for future success. Our Arctic values here at Compass Charter Schools include the following values, including the value of achievement, which means to engage in and take care of or take charge of your learning. Respect, which means to be respectful in all interactions with fellow scholars, learning coaches, faculty, and staff. Teamwork, which means to work cooperatively with all persons involved in your education. Remember, teamwork makes the dream work. Integrity, which means to behave following strong ethical principles, values, and academic honesty. And last but not least, communication, which means to frequently and proactively communicate with all persons involved in your education. So now, really quickly, once again, this is a WOW, which stands for Weeks of Welcome. A WOW is a 2-week program held the beginning of the school year, and a mini WOW, which is what this is a condensed version of that program for semester two, with some of the most important highlights and updates to support Compass scholars and families as they navigate their learning for this semester. The WOW program information from the start of the school year can be found available here in the WOW Fall 2024 library. You can find that link either here in the slides or more than likely somewhere in the description of this video. All right, so let's start with some cybersecurity tips for success. And this is targeted more for scholars. So, for you scholars out there, you want to make sure that your systems stay secure. Systems meaning your devices, like your Compass computer or iPad or whatever device that you are working on. You can do this by making sure you lock your devices with a password. Do not share your password with anyone, and do not use the same password for everything. Regarding software installation, you always want to make sure that you know what it is you're installing. Read installation steps before clicking next. Lots of common software packages now have ads that install behind the scenes, which can cause problems. You can unselect these during the installation process. Now, email. Email is the source of, unfortunately, most common malicious attacks online. So whenever you're checking your email, always make sure that you know who the email is coming from. Check the sender and the recipient. Sometimes scammers are very clever. They'll try to use a fake name like Microsoft or something in the title. But if you check the actual email that came to you, the email address, you'll find that sometimes they're a little tricky and it might say something suspicious like, micro sock or something like that. So always make sure you read that email and don't just assume that the name is authentic. Never provide login or personal information to anyone if asked. Do not click on links you are unfamiliar with. You can always hover over the link to see where it will take you if you want to click on it. So this is very important. A lot of times scamming emails will try to trick you by trying to pretend that there's some kind of sense of urgency, like, oh no, your account's been locked out of, or here, did you just make a payment to this website? And they'll always include a link or some kind of button in that email, which is trying to trick you. Most authentic websites, like a bank or a place to buy things, they will not usually include links in their email. So they usually ask you to, in the email, to go to the website manually and then go check your account to see things there. So if there's actually a link or an attachment or a button inside the email that's trying to tell you, hey, click here to fix your problem, then you are right to be suspicious of that. And you can report those emails to the IT team or in Gmail. Maintenance. Make sure you update your operating system and reboot your computer as at least once a day. Update your software and programs. So you want to keep everything on your computer up to date, so that way you get something called patching of software, which basically means that the software gets updated to correct any vulnerabilities or weaknesses in the software that malicious threats could try to infiltrate. Update your antivirus program if your computer has one, like Microsoft Defender. If you're using a Chromebook, good news, you don't need to install separate antivirus software. That will be included in the Chrome OS system. And ideally, you want to try to change your passwords at least 2 times a year or when traveling. Now, you don't have to change your passwords super dramatically, but you do want to at least try to keep them a little bit different, so that at least twice a year. So that way, if you do get, if somebody somehow gets your password from somewhere, that password will no longer work every 6 months. Now, let's talk a little bit about some cybersecurity awarenesses. So, it's very important for all scholars and families to know that all school issued devices are, in fact, monitored by your school. So, what this means for you scholars out there is anytime you get a computer from your school, or for those of you who are teenagers, if you get a computer or a phone for your job, which might happen in some cases, it is important to remember that most schools or employers do, in fact, monitor the devices that they give you. Now, before you get worried, this does not mean that your school is watching what you do on your computer 24/7 or anything that extreme. So don't worry about that. However, do understand that alerts are sent when users engage in behavior or dialogue that is concerning, that may violate school rules, or most importantly, that may put them or others in danger. Always use school or work issued computers with this in mind. Be professional and courteous when using your device and when working online for your classes. Now, a best practice, which is one that I follow as well, is to always keep what you do on your school or work device, like your school work, or if you have a job, your work. Try to keep that separate from anything that you do on your personal device, like gaming or playing on social media or things like that. Now, if you're interested in learning more about cybersecurity best practices for scholars and parents, you can check out our IT Learning Coach Academy video, which includes some instructional slides with more detailed information on cybersecurity best practices and protocols to follow to help keep you and your family's devices safe and secure. There is also some cybersecurity awareness lessons from a website called Common Sense Media, which is a wonderful website for those of you parents out there and families who are trying to reinforce cybersecurity and digital literacy or digital citizenship best practices with your scholars. I'll go ahead and have that link here in the slides. And in most cases, you can also find that again in the description of the videos. But if you, for any reason, can't find the links, definitely search for Common Sense Media. They have some wonderful resources there, including various topics, information, lessons, and help articles about cybersecurity and cyber or digital citizenship, explanations on popular social platforms and cyber safety advice, and some suggested ways to talk to your child about cybersecurity. Now, disclaimer information provided on the Common Sense website carries no express or implied warranties as to accuracy, timeliness, or appropriateness for a particular purpose. In addition, Compass Charter Schools disclaims owner responsibility for content errors, omissions, or infringing material, and disclaims owner liability for damage associated with user reliance on information provided at the site. So, in summary, what this means is that no cybersecurity system or programs or instructional materials are perfect. It is ultimately up to the user's responsibility to make sure that they also engage in cybersecurity best practices to protect themselves. But again, if anything comes up or you see anything suspicious, you are always welcome to reach out to the IT department, and we will be more than happy to support you with evaluating any kinds of maybe suspicious emails you get or anything of that nature. We're here to support you and to help you maintain a safe and secure learning environment for you and your scholars. Okay, so a little bit of information now about our live Q&A session. Please join us on February 7th from 2 to 3 p.m. via Zoom for a live Q&A about our Mini-WoW presentations. Presenters of the Mini-WoW recordings will be available to answer questions for those who attended the live Q&A session. Please reference the Monday morning update or the MMU and Parent Square calendar for information on how to join the session. I will be there and I'll be happy to answer any of your cybersecurity related questions or questions about digital citizenship or digital literacy. And that concludes this very brief summarized presentation about some of the most important cybersecurity best practices for scholars and families to try to support throughout this semester. If you have any questions or concerns about cybersecurity, or if you need support with anything that you think might be a cybersecurity issue, you are always welcomed and encouraged to reach out to me anytime. Again, my name is Krisha Moeller, and my contact information is listed here on the slide, including my phone number and email. So that concludes the presentation about cybersecurity. Thank you so much, Compass families and scholars. I'm so glad to have you watching this video, and I hope you have a wonderful, happy, and of course safe school year here in spring 2025. Thank you so much.